the most difficult area in Somalia was the area of politics. How politics can progress in Somalia. Civil war has ended long time. The insecurity due to the anarchy has already subsided. We have one security issue, which is fighting against Al-Shabaab. And the basics of the prolonged conflict and the having a conducive environment for the terrorists and extremists to develop was because there was no state in control in Somalia. And then the 30 years that Somalia was having functioning state institutions, 1960, 1990, we were having a unitary system which was highly centralized. And one time now the Somali people decided to decentralize and become a federal state. So it was a new experience that the Somali people has not much experience. So we are in a process of learning. And that was one of the major reasons why Somalia has remained in the transitional period for a long time. Because the whole concept of decentralization and federalism was completely new to the Somali people. But we learned it in the process, and this term, last year, the year before, since we came to the office, we started emphasizing on moving the politics that was stagnant here in the capital to move into the different parts of the country. So the people in the peripheries, they discuss about the way they want to be ruled, elect their own leaders, have their own local system in place. Well, there was one problem, which was the lack of regulatory framework that supports the federalism, the decentralization, governance, and all this. So it was the decision of the government to establish an interim administrations, while on the other hand, building the legal framework for the federation. Interim administrations has emerged. The Somali government has facilitated in bringing people together, making reconciliation, and then opening a dialogue space for discussing on the formation of the administrations. I'm very glad now almost most of the country now has politicians, leaders that are not national, but leads the subnational entity of the state. And the remaining ones are now getting shape and coming out. So that was a very difficult process, very time consuming. But the Somali people and the Somali government both, we learned that process. Today we have interim administrations established. Interim administrations are busy in establishing, in getting down to the lowest level of the governance, which is regions, districts, interim state administration. Vision 2016, which is the end of the term of this government, has a 3 legs or 3 tracks. One is the review of the constitution. The other one is the formation of the Boundaries and Federation Commission, which will delineate the boundaries of the new states, and the democratization, which is the electoral system, Independent Electoral Commission, followed by other legislations like political party law, electoral management system, and others. So already the laws that was establishing the commissions has been passed by the parliament. The cabinet has selected the commissioners. Now it's in the parliament to endorse the commissioners. In the coming weeks, the boundaries and the Constitutional Review Commission has already been passed. It's there, it's functioning. But Boundaries and Federation Commission and Electoral Commission will be passing in the next few weeks. So that completes the whole thing. These commissions, constitutional commissions, which are independent, will start working on those issues. Constitutional Review Commission is already working. The Parliament Oversight Commission has handed over the first 4 chapters of the Constitution to do their work. So they are working. The Independent Constitutional Commission is there, which makes the review. The Parliamentary Oversight Constitutional Commission is there, working. And the Ministry of Constitution is there. So these three entities working together is going to deliver the permanent constitution of Somalia. This is a tricky question. It all depends on the definition of election we have in our mind. I will not rule out, but I will say it might be difficult to Somalia to have one person, one vote, and ballot boxes all over the country, all corners of the country. That might be difficult. But in the Vision 2016, we set two principles, and we are going to develop policies and procedures and programs on the basis of these principles. One is we have a parliament right now. This parliament is based on the nomination of 135 elders from all Somali clans and sub-clans. That is the base of the legitimacy of our parliament right now. It has not been elected by people. So that's the legitimacy of the parliament, and it's okay. We are very much comfortable. The parliament is assuming the responsibility of any normal parliament, and they are functioning. Now, what we are saying is that in the next parliament, can we enhance the legitimacy? Can we make more citizens participate the election of the parliament? Instead of 135, we say 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million people participate how the next parliament comes. So it has much broader legitimacy than the current one. That's one principle, enhancing the legitimacy of the next parliament. And the other principle is, if Somalia today cannot reach full democracy, can we transition to the full democracy? There is a space in between where we are right now and the full democracy. So can we jump half the way, and then maybe the next term we jump in the next half? So transitioning to full democracy is the other principle. Any process, any type of election that helps us to transition to the full democracy even, if we can make the full democracy, that's the ideal. If we cannot make, we have to move forward and get closer to the full democracy so that next time we can enjoy the full democracy. So based on that two principles, that's what we are going to make the programs and the implementation of the Vision 2016. It's not easy. There's a lot of challenges in place. One of the challenges is our people have been in a conflict for a long time. Our institutional memory for a functioning state institutions is very limited. Those who can remember 25 years ago, or who were running institutions 25 years ago, today mostly are retired people who cannot run. Most of our institutions are run people who are very young, who has no experience of running state institutions. Politics, at least the one we know, the one our fathers used to teach us, we drop it and we take another approach, which is the federation and all this. On top of that, we have been in a conflict for a long time, so we are carrying the baggage of the past. We have a lot of scars that can be scratched and sensitized easily. So all this is the kind of environment we have. But so far so good. We are maintaining, and they are moving to the right direction. We've established one of the tools that we're using is the recently established forum for the platform for the national leaders, whereby I chair with the interim administration presidents, and we discuss about not the local issues of that state, but we discuss about the national issues, cross-cutting issues that affects all member states at the national level. That's the subject of discussion and the issues that we discuss it in that platform. So we have that one. Soon we are going to, once the interim administration's parliaments are formed, we're going to establish similar platform for the speakers, led and chaired by the Speaker of the Federal Parliament. The Prime Minister have worked extensively on linking the federal ministry to its counterpart in the states. Minister of Health working with the Ministries of Health of the federal unities, Minister of Sports, Ministers of Finance, Ministry of Securities. So we have established a set of networks and circles to deliberate on the national issues and build the relationship between the center and the periphery so that we can harmoniously move forward. Challenges are too many and the list is endless. Recently I have a side meeting with the heads of states of the troop contributing countries in Johannesburg, South Africa. The subject of our discussion was AMISOM mainly, and how AMISOM can best support Somali government in a time frame that's acceptable for the political progress that to happen in the ground. And the heads of states of troop contributing countries, they agreed with me on the necessities of the AMISOM troops to do certain. The meeting was attended by the SRRC, by the Peace and Security Commissioner Ismail Shargi, and SRSG, and the heads of states and representatives of governments. The main aim was to accelerate the pace of liberation, the remaining districts to be, because soon the interim administrations will go down to, with the federal government, to establish the local administrations at the district level, regional level. So those remaining districts has to be liberated, number one. Number two was accessibility of these states. It has to be accessible, reachable by both humanitarian, Somali government, civil society, international community, because a lot of movement is involved in 2016, the implementation of the Vision 2016. So this movement of goods and people has to be easily reachable to its destination. So opening and guaranteeing the accessibility of this was another area. The third was issue of management of the forces and all this command and control, improving the command and control, the relationship of the sectors and all that was purely military subject to them. And I think they got the point, and all of them, their responses were very positive, and they appreciated the effort that the Somali government is doing to build the political base for the political future of Somalia. So these are the top challenges. On top of that, the human part of the implementation of vision, we need a very large number of people to be involved in the implementation of this electoral system that we're doing with this difficult environment, and mobilizing large number of people to do the work. That itself is the third is the issue of resources. Implementation of Vision 2016 will need a lot of resources, a lot of know-how. So all these are among the challenges that exist, and the remaining legal framework that is going on. From Somali part, we have certain assignments that we have to do, and our international partners, they have also their own part to do. Finalizing and producing the legal base for all these activities is the responsibility of the Somali government and Somali parliament, which is going on, and some of them already in place. Mobilizing the society, making them understand what's coming next is a responsibility of Somali government. Doing the part of security that we have, engaging all our forces in creating this secure environment is another responsibility for the Somali government. But